Welcome to No Cover Music Magazine. I'm your host, Tim O'Brien, here at American Guitar Boutique in Phoenix City, Alabama, where we're happy to showcase and spotlight local musicians and artists. Welcome to this episode of No Cover Music Magazine at 707 13th Street in Phoenix City, Alabama at the American Guitar Boutique. I'm here with my friend and guitarist, Mr. Larry Mitchell.
Hello.
Super excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Larry's, if you don't know of Larry, look him up, get his music. He's got plenty of accolades. In fact, I just heard that you were invited to be at the Steve Vai Academy, which has got to be a tremendous compliment or honor, or I don't know how you say it.
I'm very honored to be there. Steve sent me a message, asked me to come and teach and be part of Vai Academy, and there's Yngwie Malmsteen and Steve Morse, who's one of the nicest guys in the business and great ridiculous guitar player. St. Vincent's going to be there, Steve of course, and I'm excited. I've gotten to, actually the last couple of times Steve's been in Alabama and Georgia, I've just gone and sat in with them.
Very nice. Very nice.
It'd be great to do that.
You know, we like I can't wait to talk and interview you, but we like to hear some music. So before we get too deep in this, we're going to cut to some of your music. You're going to play a song for us.
Yeah, I'm going to play a song called Temporary Thing.
Temporary Thing. Let's get to it. fortunate to have you here in East Alabama. If you're local to this area, we get to listen to Larry play quite a bit, maybe more often than the rest of the world, but you do travel around the world extensively.
I travel quite a bit and play. I go to Italy usually once a year and Germany once a year. I went to Russia for 3 years in a row and maybe going back in 2018. I didn't go to Russia in 2017 though.
You were afraid if you were running for a political office, it might get in your way.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So you have Grammy Award. You have. Tell me about some of the honors that you've been.
Well, besides playing guitar, I guess the second career, which turned out to be like more of a main career, is producing and engineering, especially singer-songwriters and Native American artists. Done some rock, some gospel, contemporary Christian. R&B. I produce a lot of singer-songwriters. So producing and engineering have won, I think it's 26 New Mexico Music Awards for producing it, or 24 for producing and engineering, 2 as an artist. And then the Grammys for producing and engineering.
Well, that's awesome. So, do you get as much satisfaction out of helping other artists coming up through the ranks as you do playing your own music? Or?
Sure. It's fun to be a part of different projects, and I like a lot of different types of music. So I've learned a lot. It broadens my music. I think if you are an artist and say you play country music and you only listen to country music, then there's less likely a chance that you're going to bring anything new and fresh to it. But if you listen to country music, modern country has almost hip hop in it, and
right.
It has a lot of 80s pop rock in it.
Right.
But if you listen to death metal, maybe you'll add something into it. Or gospel has creeped into lots of styles of music. But if you play death metal and you only listen to death metal, then you can't advance it. Whereas people like John Five, right? He plays with Rob Zombie, but he's a chicken picking bad boy on a telly. He can play country, he can play all kind of jazz and stuff like that. So he brings something new to the platform he plays in mostly.
If people see you on this show and they want to go out and get some of your music, I know that you sell CDs, you sell your music, you have music all out there on YouTube and everything. Where can someone go to find your catalog?
iTunes and the Amazon Music Store. Lots of streaming services like Spotify, and I believe there's a couple of our records on Pandora. I have 8 officially released records. And then I have music on YouTube, my YouTube page. If you go to LarryMitchell.com, you can get to my Facebook page, you can get to my YouTube page, and now I've been doing this Tuesday night live on Facebook, and it's actually been pretty fun to do. So I play a lot of songs on that as well.
That's cool. Well, I want to hear some more of your music. We got one more to do for us now.
Sure.
What's the name of this next tune?
I'm going to do Cosmic Tears. I think I'm going to do Cosmic Tears.
Awesome. So, in my opinion, being a guitar player and everything, one of the things that I think is awesome is your use of effects, your producing and studio skills, and your gear. You seem to have a real good handle on a lot of the latest and greatest gear. You want to tell me a little bit about what you're using and what makes Larry Mitchell Larry Mitchell?
Being disturbed, I guess. I love effects. I used to play. I used to play in a Rush cover band years ago, early '80s, and I used to have two pedal boards, one with 10 pedals, one with 11 pedals, and then later on, when I started doing my stuff, my music and playing, I had a 16-space shock mount rack that weighed 350 pounds, and then another small rack with a power amp in it and a bunch of cabinets. And now I fly everywhere, so I have a little thing called a Fractal Audio Axe-Fx AX8, and that's a digital modeler, and it has a whole lot of amp sims and delays and reverbs and harmonizers and all kinds of weird, wacky things.
Machine guns.
Machine guns. I like mixing stuff up. And it's small enough that I get on a plane with it in a laptop briefcase. So and they make a rack mount unit that I've been using for years as well and stuff like that, but I don't travel it as much. And then acoustic wise, I use the Godin. This is the Encore series, which you sell in the store.
Yes,
right?
yes, we do.
So this is light, and it's got it's hollow body or semi-hollow. Right now, I have a thing called the Tonewood amp on the back of it, which lets me have. I was telling Tim that I like to play with effects. So there's a lot of effects on it. So yeah, I use this for nylon string. I play quite a few songs in my set, acoustic and so with nylon. And then I'll show you my electric if you want.
That sounds great. We're going to take a break and grab another guitar. That is a beautiful guitar.
Thank you. This is a Joe Knaggs model guitar. Or actually, it's my model guitar, but it's made by Joe Knaggs. The company is called Knaggs.
And that is your number one?
This is my number one. It's a thick piece of maple on top, and it's alder back. It's got Joe's proprietary bridge. It's got DiMaggio. I've been with DiMaggio since the mid '80s. It's got DiMaggio single coils, the Area 67s, and then it's got a Satch track neck pickup in the bridge, and it's got a Cocobolo fretboard. And I love the back here, the keel, which is awesome. It's a maple neck. And it's got my logo. So a lot of people think that's a fish or a plane when you hold it this way, but it's just
you.
the logo.
It's you.
Next thing is that vintage locking tuners. And it's just a great guitar. It sounds great. I got to visit the Knaggs factory and play all the guitars that were assembled very carefully, so I didn't break them or scratch them. And they were all great. So it's a cool company, very cool company, making great and beautiful guitars, playable works of art.
Awesome. Yeah, well, that's a great way to describe them. So, we don't have a whole lot of time on this show, and we really could do 10 episodes with you, but I do want to ask you one thing, because
Sure.
I know that you're real involved in youth and kids programs and music programs and the art and the education of music. Do you have any advice? I mean, I know you could go on for an hour and a half, but do you have anything that you might say to kids thinking about getting into the music world and their parents about the inhibition of letting their kids get into the music world? And I mean, do you have some advice for?
Sure. I can't tell anyone to do this for a career, and I can't stop anyone from doing it as a career. I would never tell anybody not to do it. But I would say if you're a young kid and you like music, just play music. Do it because you love it. Learn as much as you can. Try and be as creative as you can. And then later on, when you get to that fork in the road, you have to decide if it's something that you want to do as a career. Handle it then. But parents, I wouldn't, if your kid wants to play in a rock and roll band and play guitar all day and stuff like that, if it's a good influence on them, if it's keeping them out of trouble, which music usually does, then why discourage that? That doesn't mean that a 12-year-old, even if they're amazing, is going to do it as a career. It doesn't mean they're not, but it's just let them have fun, create music. Music, I think, is everybody should play music of some sort. I don't think that everybody needs to do it as a career, but I think it's a great stress relief. It teaches a little bit about personalities when you try and form a band.
Working with others.
Working with others. It's cool because I do a couple of programs around the country with autistic children who play music, and one of the first things I have to do is go in and see. Usually they're pretty talented, but I have to see who can play with others. That's the trick. Usually I run into kids that can play, and adults that can play by themselves, and they do some really cool stuff. So one of the things we do is we put on a show, and I get them to play a song by themselves, and then we play a song, they play a song with me, or I play a song with them. And then at the end of the night, we try and get everybody together to play one song together.
That's awesome.
So music it's a wonderful thing. Everybody has to do it as a profession. I don't think you need to discourage people because if it's not in someone's heart, if they try and do it as a profession, they'll try and they go, wow, this is really hard. And there's so many other ways to make more money and sometimes doing a whole lot less than what you can do as a musician. But it's a great thing to do.
Well, you got one more tune for us.
Sure. This is Unforgotten. It's about remembering friends and family that have passed on.
Well, thanks for sitting in on this episode No Cover Music Magazine. Let me do that again.
Okay.
Well, thanks for sitting in on this one more time. Well, thanks for sitting in on this episode of No Cover Music Magazine. Thank you, Larry Mitchell. I appreciate your friendship, your musicianship, and you coming and doing the show with us.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.